my morning talk show. Today, I found something new to talk about. Now, my brother sent me this. You know, he's an attorney, retired. And it's called The Brady Bunch Breaks Down. Estates Fights Tear Stepfamilies Apart. That was so nice of him because, you know, we've been having troubles with the dividing everything with his and hers and mine and ours. And so I was glad to get this. And I thought, I'm going to share that because, you know, I can't be the only one that has these problems of having estates and trying to figure out your trust and figure it all out. And I keep asking people, do you have that problem? I asked Jay Osmond and his wife, you know, because they both have children and they had problems too. I won't tell you what he told me about his problems, but he had them, I know. So here is this article. More American couples are coming together with children from prior relationships. It often goes well until it comes time to read the will. When a parent dies, the typical order of operations for married couples with children is for everything to go to the surviving spouse and then to their children. But this can be a disaster for blended families since a surviving spouse often has no obligation to leave assets to the stepchildren. Stepchildren have lost out on their inheritance while step-siblings got it all. Arguments have turned nasty. Some families stop speaking to each other without lawyers present as the bills mount. The damage can be irreparable. Once the tie that binds dies, there's no longer a need to get along, said with person. In one case she handled, the children changed the locks and kicked their stepmom out of the house before the funeral. In other cases, adult children were shocked to discover they were passed over and their parents' new spouse or partner got everything. I've heard of both of those things happening, you know, like the children, it's war when the parents die. Adult children do not have a right to an inheritance. Adult children do not have a right to an inheritance. Right? You don't really, that's not your right, it's your honor. But I heard though, when it goes, if it had to go into prohibition, what's that called? That the attorney and then the children do get it. More than 1 in 5 opposite-sex couples in the U.S. who lived together in 2021 had at least one partner who had a child with a prior partner. Okay. There's no public data on the number of will consists among blended families. Lawyers say it is becoming more common. Well, we knew that. The key to staving off a crisis later is complex estate planning. When there are new spouses and children from previous unions involved, there are many confounding choices that will have to be made. Okay. There's this one couple. They established a joint trust in 1995 to provide their children with equal shares of what remained in the trust when the second parent died. But according to a lawsuit filed by Barbara's children, the wife, after Barbara died in 2010, James effectively moved all the assets into a new trust. Then he named his son the sole beneficiary. That's what I'm afraid of. Jamie could do that. If I died first, he could change everything. My kids could get nothing, and his kids would get it all. When James died in 2020, Barbara, this is the same couple, children were told they weren't beneficiaries. Their lawsuit argued that the assets should be clawed back and distributed under the terms of the joint trust. And there's going to be a trial in the summer. And they're going to trace all the, and the children declined to comment. Well, the attorneys get all the money then. The risk of such scenarios can be reduced with better estate planning. I hope our new trust is good because, see, the old trust, I was a beneficiary, but I wasn't a trust holder. So then I was going to have to ask the trustees, which were 4 of our children, if I could spend any money or sell anything or do anything. And I told Jamie, that's not fair. I don't want to have to ask my kids, can I buy a new car? And so the new trust, I am the trustee. If he dies, it's all mine. But I can't change it. But he could change it if I died. Using separate trusts outside the main estate plan works well to guarantee children get their inheritance, especially if the step-parent is close in age to the children. We don't have to worry about that. Well, in some of these stories, I noticed they hadn't been married very long, whereas Jamie and I have been married for 29 years. Another option is giving the children money when you're alive, or leaving them a specific dollar amount or percentage of the estate upon your death. Other families will keep their biological children in the main plan and will fund a separate trust for the new spouse and stepchildren. Oh, my. Oh, now they want me to buy something. Go back to where I was. How dare you? Oh, and a prenuptial agreement is often a crucial estate planning. Well, we've been married too long. We don't have that. Here's another couple. A divorced father of 3 got married late in life. They wanted their separate property to go to their respective children when they died, so they signed a prenup. I could understand that. Marriage automatically gives surviving spouses legal protection in addition to property rights that should be addressed before the wedding. Oh, that's the prenup. Okay. Spouses typically get to make the medical decisions and funeral arrangements for each other, which can cause rifts if children have different ideas than the surviving parent. I can see that happening. But I don't think we'll have that problem, because Jamie already has his plot and his headstone and everything, and I have where I'm going to be buried too. I want to go get my headstone now too, so our kids don't have to do it. Oh, there was one, a bishop of a church, and he told the widower with 3 adult children, and they were getting married in their 70s, and he told them, you need a prenup. All right. When this one person in their 50s, when she got remarried, and she had 3 adult children, and her husband had 5. So in their first estate plan, they left 100% to each other, with the remainder going to the children upon the second spouse's death. But then Schultz's father told her and her sister that he was leaving them a nest egg from the sale of his construction business, and he wanted it to be passed down through the bloodline. See, that's the problem we have with the land, too. It was not an easy conversation to have with my husband. She set up a separate trust with the inheritance from her father, naming herself as trustee and her biological children as beneficiaries to guarantee only they would benefit from her after her death, because it was her father's money. Okay. I got my dad's glasses. Blended families should consider naming an outsider or as an executor instead of a family member. But we don't have an outside executor because, we don't have a friend like that or a relative we could do it. Because he has a son and I have a son, so that's who's the executor of our will. So it's a problem for a lot of people. You don't want to look like you favored people. When you have little children, you have to do guardians. We didn't have to do that. With their children now in their 20s, they named Heather's brother, the wife's brother, as their trustee. Our love is unconditional. Our legacy is unconditional. Oh, they thought of everything. They have a life coach. This life coach has seen parents write stepchildren out of their wills on a whim. I heard this one guy, he was an old guy, and he had quite a bit, and he kept changing it all the time. Like a nurse would come and help, and he would love her, and so then he'd change his will and give all that money to the nurse, and then the next thing would happen, and he'd change it again, so they never knew what it was. So, I hope our new one is good, and I hope we didn't miss anything like we did the first time. So, if he dies, I get it. If I die, he gets it. And then after that, the children. The children should get what's left over. But like if I knew I was going to die, I had cancer or something, I'd start giving away my stuff now. Wouldn't you? I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I would bring that up because a lot of my people who watch are older, and a lot of my people who watch are ladies that need to protect themselves and not let the husband just, not take care of them if they die first. And usually the men do die first in marriages. And I have a lot of ladies that write to me and say, my husband died, and. So we need to plan and take care of business. Okay, that'll be my talk for this morning. Take care of business.